What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GEEKING POETIC PODCAST. I am one of the resident geeks and dunderheads on this show, otherwise known as Larry Roberts. This little pink muffin in the middle here is known to you all as
Megan Guess.
And then Big Blue over there on the end. Like the scariest Smurf on the planet. Sitting over there. It's like angry and brainy all rolled into one. Little bit of Papa. Little Papa Smurf in there too. Just throwing some wisdom on you. It's none other than
Vito.
And what we are here today for, well, you know what? We're going to be completely candid with y'all. Okay, so as some of you may know, we have been watching and reacting and reviewing every week the new Star Trek Picard series, and we love it. Like, it's been great. We're 3 episodes in, and we got together tonight. We got all set up. We were all ready to talk about it and watch it. We've been all eager to see episode 4, and guess what? It's not fucking out yet. We're idiots, and we didn't realize it.
We said 12:01.
We thought it was coming on at 12:01, but that was Pacific time.
Didn't bother to check that.
And here in the good old Midwest, we are in Central Time.
We are in Central Time, so that means it's 2 hours from now, and so we've got time to kill. So one of the things we talked about in the past was another series that was recently out that we were really big fans of. Obviously, as you can see, the banner we have behind us was none other than Disney Plus's first real excursion out into the world, other than their old rehashed Disney movies and shit, was The Mandalorian. I'm sure anybody that's going to bother watching this knows exactly what The Mandalorian is. It is a offshoot tale in the Star Wars universe, and it takes place after Return of the Jedi,
but before
Force Awakens. Yeah. So I think it's supposed to be around 6 or 7 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. And it centers around a Mandalorian character. We didn't know his name.
He's just Mando.
He's just Mando. Yeah, they just call him Mando for short. But he is a Boba Fett-like character. He's a bounty hunter because Boba Fett was also a Mandalorian. And it centers around him. And he takes up a mission to go and collect a bounty. He comes to find out that this bounty is a child. And
not just any child.
It sure isn't.
Not just any child. It's a little baby Yoda child. And it's a great show. And we just thought, we all loved it. So, spoilers, we've got pretty much only good things to say about it. But after the show was over, we decided we wanted to talk about it. And because of the holidays and then Picard coming out and everything, we just didn't get around to it. But now we said, okay, fuck it. We're going to talk about Mandalorian. Just kind of riff on it and stuff, talk about what we liked about it, maybe if there were things we didn't like, and things that we are hoping for or expecting from the next season, because it was a bit of a cliffhanger, and there is definitely a next season coming out. So anyway, before we even get into talking about specifics about the show, I always like to kind of ask you guys, generally, just get us going here. Vito, what did you think of The Mandalorian?
I loved it. And as a I guess I'm not a non-Star Wars fan, but Star Wars isn't my favorite thing to watch.
Right.
But this show was excellent, man.
Right.
I loved how it was almost like a Wild West, Western, it was great.
Yeah, it was a Western in space,
yeah. Which
ironically is what George Lucas initially intended Star Wars to be.
Well, he failed at that, obviously.
Wow.
You get that vibe at all from New Hope.
I think in New Hope it had elements of that, sure. I think it did, but it took on such a life of its own. It became its own thing. But this one definitely follows after the whole, Clint Eastwood, the mysterious, don't know if he's good or bad. He's just kind of this neutral, somewhat lawless character that maybe has a good moral code to him and all that. And Yeah, it definitely follows that whole kind of thing. I wasn't sure what you were going to think of this show because we started watching it before you did. You came in a little bit, not too far, but a little bit after we did. And, as you said, I know you're not a big Star Wars fan. You like it okay.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
So, for people that automatically think like, oh, we'll go figure they're going to love it. No, there was no guarantees with this one over here.
Yeah, I watched it with some other friends, and we binged like 6 episodes that whole night. Right. I mean, I was like, dude, put the next one on.
It's very easily bingeable.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, well, plus, it's easily bingeable because the episodes are fairly short.
Yeah. Which is awesome, because if you're on a limited time, which most of us are, you don't want to sit there for an hour for all these episodes to get through a whole season. It makes more sense to have it more of like a half an hour type of show.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for some of us, there were times where I felt like certain things could have been fleshed out a little bit more.
For sure, yeah.
If the time constraint wasn't there. But then I think a big factor in why it worked so well was because they were so easily digestible. Mm-hmm. It got just enough in there in each episode to keep you hanging on. Megan, what about you?
I really enjoyed it as well. I think I'm more of a Star Wars fan than you are, but I'm not anywhere close to the level he is.
Yeah, it literally goes from this side to this side.
Yeah, I'm smack in the middle here, so I really enjoy Star Wars, but I'm not like a buff on it or anything. But
right.
So I missed a lot of the little Easter eggs in there that somebody later filled me in on.
Tons of them. Yeah.
It's like, did you see that? I was like, no. Yeah. So I had to go back and rewatch it again. So, but I thought it was very enjoyable. I liked it. Like, it was shorter. Mm-hmm. I get that there was more things that could have been put in there, but with my little knowledge of it, it made it enjoyable for me. I didn't realize things were missing. So
it's not even that things were missing. I just think that even if you're not a Star Wars buff, I think there were times where certain aspects of the story they were telling could have been fleshed out a little bit more. There could have been a little more time spent developing certain relationships and characters and stuff. But even then, it's minor. It's a minor complaint. It wasn't anything where I walked away from it going, oh, I'm really disappointed they didn't do more with this or they didn't do more with that. Now, obviously, the caveat of that being that I hope they do flesh certain things out more with season 2. I don't want them to just completely move on, you know what I mean, and not address certain things. We got just enough of the Mandalorian's backstory to now kind of understand the motivations of his character. Mm-hmm. We got just enough of the story of what's been going on with the Mandalorian order, we'll call it. It's not really a race per se. It's more like an order, right?
Mm-hmm.
Code of life.
Like religion.
Life code, religion almost. Yeah, in a way. We got just enough of that to be invested in it and stuff, but I still think there's a lot of questions to be answered. And of course, first and foremost, the main question to be answered is the child. Let's just jump in there and talk about the child before we even get into any of the other characters. Everybody was pretty excited to see another Yoda type character. Obviously, everybody calls him Baby Yoda, but he's not Baby Yoda, or at least, well, he can't be, because he comes after the death of Yoda. But
Yoda's dead, man.
He could be like Groot, where it's Baby Groot, but it's really just a part of Groot.
Because they don't know anything about his race, right?
No, we don't know anything about it yet. They don't even have a name for his race. Like we can't call him, a Mon Calamari or a Gamorrean or a whatever, or an Ewok or anything like that. We don't know. So they just have to refer to him as the child. And all of us out here in Fandom, a lot of us call him Baby Yoda.
He is Baby Yoda.
But
it could be just like a little piece of slime where it just kind of and it makes Baby Yoda.
That's an interesting way to describe the birds and the bees of outer space, Megan. We'll just go with that, okay? But it's Star Wars, so it's Star Wars. So we've had immaculate births and all sorts of other weird, clones. Clones are a big fucking thing in Star Wars.
The best thing about Star Wars, in my opinion.
I'm with you, Vito.
Yeah, if you don't already know, these two actually like the prequels, especially Attack of the fucking Clones.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's better than Rogue One.
No, it is not.
No, Megan, I'm sorry.
Did you hear this? Attack of the Clones is better than Rogue One, she says. You have now just invalidated yourself to probably
What's new?
95% of the population out there that likes Star Wars.
Well, if they watched our Star Wars review, they'd already know this.
Yeah, I know. Well, in any case, that's fine. There's all Star Wars to some degree or another is good Star Wars in my book, so take that for what it is. But anyway, we don't know, and that's the big question. We don't know what the child is, why it exists, or furthermore, why these leftover remnants of the Galactic Empire want it, because that's the whole premise of the show, is that Mandalorian gets hired by some mysterious client who we come to find out is connected to the old Empire. He's Imperial. They want to experiment on him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We know that much because we see that when Mando finds out that that's what they're doing. He has a change of heart about the whole situation and completely risks everything to rescue the child back from the client. In the process, winds up exposing the Mandalorians to everybody because people don't know that the Mandalorians are still out there and plentiful to some degree. They think they're on the verge of, extinction, basically. And no, they end up making themselves known because they rescue Mando and the child. Everybody loves the child, Baby Yoda. Everybody loves it because it's cute, it's funny, it's mysterious because it's obviously extremely strong, so we get to see it do some major force maneuvers and stuff with its funny little hand. But
it isn't always going to be the rescue either.
No.
I thought a couple times, oh, he's going to rescue. It's like, oh, no, he never
Yeah.
did. I wonder why only certain times.
Yeah, I don't know.
Plot convenience.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
Quick, we need an escape. Well, let Baby Yoda do something. All right, we got out of that one.
do your hand, magic hands.
Well, what do you guys think about Baby Yoda and the child? Do you have any theories about what we might find out about it? Do you think there's a chance that this is something that could be an offspring of Yoda? Could it be something that was created with midichlorians and clone technology?
I vote for clone technology because
of course you
clone
do.
technology are two words combined that are just awesome. So I got to go with that.
Every time.
Yeah, every time. Yeah, I don't think yoga. I don't.
Have
think,
you ever done yoga? It's tough, man.
I don't think the original Yoda had sex with another Yoda female race, and then this child became that offspring.
Why?
I don't think that's
Who
the
says
case.
they have to have sex? It could just be happen. Again, it's like little slime,
Through the
and
power
it
of
becomes
wills?
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. They could be, some sort of weird hatchling. It could be like certain amphibious life out there that can impregnate itself or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or
He's kind of amphibian looking like.
I guess.
yeah, I wonder if it isn't something still more to do with, because like I said, there's a precedence for it. I wonder if it's something more to do with how the Force seems to do this immaculate birth thing every now and then.
He's the rebirth.
Like every now and then the Force ends up causing a child to be born, conceived without the normal form of conception.
He could be like Anakin, just not have a father.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know.
I know.
I'm still going with clone technology. That's way cooler than these theories to me. Sorry, guys.
What do you think of Dingerine? Dingerine.
I think it's a dumb name.
Dingerine, tangerine.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Yeah, I like Mando better.
Yeah.
I think it's cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well...
I would definitely go by Mando than Dingerine,
Dingerine, yeah.
Dingerine.
Not Dingerine. Dingerine. the San Francisco treat. You know, what do you think about the character himself? Like, how do you feel about him? Do you like the way he's portrayed? Do you feel like he's trustworthy? Do you feel like he's, do you feel like he's going to be in it for the long haul with protecting the child and stuff? Or do we still got to worry about the fact that he kind of came from a shady background?
To me, he seems like a very stand-up guy. And I would say he's loyal to the crowd that he runs with.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of almost like a redemption, reform story for him. He's like kind of like going away from those bad things he might have done and more to like a positive light. Even though he still holds on to that Mandalorian code, I think he's using it more in like a good way than like an evil way, even though I don't think the Mandalorian clan is necessarily evil.
Right.
They just get involved with some shady stuff sometimes.
Clandestine stuff.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree with Vito. I think he's in it for the long haul. I could be surprised, but I mean, I don't think he's a stand up guy. I think he has some pretty shady shit he could get into, but I don't think he's just going to turn his back on Baby Yoda or his new posse.
Yeah.
Unless he had a valid reason.
Yeah, I
like with his old crew.
Right. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with it, because I feel like the idea of just making him this straight up good guy now is just sort of like, Yeah, I don't think he's a straight up good guy. A little one dimensional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be some stuff that's going to come out in the second season that's going to reveal some more things about him that maybe, because they've even hinted at it. They've hinted at that his background, like, he did some pretty shady shit, and he was ruthless. Now, I mean, they've done a pretty good job of trying to turn that around, and like we saw in the one episode when he ran into the other various bounty hunter guys that he did not get along with so well. They featured like Clancy Brown and those guys in there.
Yeah.
He could have just killed him.
Yeah, annihilated him.
Annihilated him, exactly, good word. And he didn't.
That's why I used it. I have one every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, he could have just done that and done away with them, but he didn't. He spared their lives. I definitely think that's going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were pretty pissed off, man. Like, they screwed them over and everything, although they tried to screw them.
Well, they're in jail, aren't they now? But I guess they can easily get
out.
out.
They've gotten out before. They'll get out again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the character. I like the fact that, other than the scene in the last episode when IG-11 takes his helmet off to save his life and everything, that you never see him.
Yeah, I really like that. You get so much expression from him without ever seeing his face. That's impressive. And actually, I love that actor. Game of Thrones. He was great in Game of Thrones. I don't know. It kind of took me out of it when they took the helmet off, because I was like, Yeah. I knew what he looked like, but I still didn't picture him like that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had hoped that they would have kept him hidden for the entire run of the show. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah. I thought it was cool the reason the helmet got to come off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I wish it just stayed on.
I can agree with that. I'm okay that they did that where it came off. I'm okay with it, but yeah, it would have been kind of cool if you never saw him, but I mean, it's not like nobody knows what Pedro Pascal looks like.
That's what I'm saying. I know what he looks like.
I don't. Well, now I do, but I have no idea who the hell this guy was.
He got his head crushed by the mountain on Game of Thrones.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. His head was just smaller than I pictured it, and I don't know. I like the reason it came off. I like the story why it came off and everything, but I just felt weird about it, I guess. It's not who I pictured underneath it.
Right. This show had a relatively small cast, but I feel like the variety of characters and stuff they had in this cast was great. It was perfect. Like, it didn't need like a cavalcade of aliens and this and that. I felt like they, there were some episodes where there was literally like two, main characters or whatever, main actors, and then hardly anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe some Jawas and some creatures and stuff, and it carried through fine. You didn't get bored. You didn't feel like, oh, this is kind of boring just watching these one or two characters. So they did a great job with that. They had Carl Weathers playing Grief Karga, who was he's kind of like the head boss guy that finds and hires all the bounty hunters and stuff.
Head hunters or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he did a great job. I love Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
anyway,
but he was really good in this role.
He was perfect for it, because he had a little bit of that scoundrel side where you kind of wanted to see him get him punched in the face, which basically does happen, more or less. But you also kind of hope that he's going to come around and be cool, which does happen. So, yeah, I really like that. Werner Herzog as the client. I thought he was sufficiently creepy and, I mean, just right off the bat, as soon as he started talking to some, you're like, oh, I don't fucking trust this motherfucker. Before they even, really gave you a clue as what they were up to, you were like, oh, yeah, this motherfucker. They had some surprise characters in there, like you had, what's his name? Was it Queel?
Nick Nolte's character?
Yes.
Dude, I fucking love Quill, or Queel, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Dude, man, when he died, I was, really upset.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand, man. I think a lot of people fell in love with that character.
And I love the little, things he wrote and stuff. Those are great. They reminded me of, there's a game for Sega Genesis called Golden Axe, and there's these little,
Golden
beak,
yes.
bird things, and those things remind me of those.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. God, I never would have thought of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping he got away or something, or played dead. And
No, they buried him.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
sucked,
the end of him.
But we didn't see him bury him.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they showed him standing by this little grave.
I know that, but we didn't see the body go in the ground.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Those are still a chance, Megan.
Still a chance.
I think there's a stretch.
You could take it and clone him.
We can always hope. And then, of course, the awesome, I think she's retired now, obviously, Gina Carrero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you like Gina? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Gina fan.
Yeah. She was great as Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything. Great
Badass.
job. A lot of people, being honest, I knew a lot of people that were very skeptical when they found out she had been cast.
Really?
They were like, it's going to be weird, her being in the Star Wars universe, and I she can do some action stuff, but is she going to have the dramatic chops to pull it off? And I thought she was great.
She was really good.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed her character.
Perfect for that role. You know what I mean? She was again likable, but you didn't totally trust her. She definitely kicked some ass.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear more of her backstory too.
I was just gonna say that's another one that I hope that's kind of what I'm talking about, of one of those facets of the show that I hope they do flesh out more in season 2, because I wanted to know more. Again, we got just
They always
enough.
leave you wanting more.
Well,
Keep you coming back.
It's good storytelling and everything. But there was a bunch of different other cameos and stuff in there. Ming-Na Wen, who people would know from a bunch of stuff, but she was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Street Fighter the movie.
Yeah. Amy Sedaris had a funny little part in it and everything. There was like I said, there's Bill Burr.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that Bill Burr episode was amazing.
Yeah, that was
so good.
Yeah, with him, Clancy Brown, and all that. Yeah, that was great. But I have to say, and I hope I'm not out on my own island with this one, that my favorite cameo in the show had to be Taika Waititi playing fucking IG-11. IG-11 is one of the fucking baddest ass characters added to the Star Wars universe ever. Ever.
He was pretty awesome.
He was.
To say I was excited about IG-11 is an understatement. When they first showed at Star Wars Celebration the trailer for The Mandalorian, which, was the first, a lot of people didn't even know the show was coming out. People didn't know what to expect. And when I saw that trailer, and I was like, wow, this looks really good. This looks serious and kind of dark, and the tone of it is it's new, but it's Star Wars. This is absolutely Star Wars. And then they started showing all the different scenes, and when they showed that fucking IG droid spin around shooting, I was like, I am fucking all in on this. I am all in on this. This show may end up sucking the biggest balls, but goddamn, I'm all in if they've got a fucking IG droid. And I didn't know if it was going to be IG-88. You know, the bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back that you see for like 5 seconds or whatever. It's been in the comic books and the expanded universe, and I think IG-88 was a very cool character. I'm so glad it wasn't IG-88. I'm so glad they made it IG-11. IG-11 was so much better than I could have hoped, because not only was he a badass in terms of like what he was capable of doing, his battle scenes and stuff, but Waititi added so much personality in a way, made the character really endearing right off the bat. Even when he was still technically supposed to be like a bad guy, he was just endearing. And I was devastated when I thought he was gone.
Yeah.
Because
I wasn't ready for him to be gone.
No, exactly. They gave us a little taste of him and we're like, this is awesome. And then, Mando ends up executing the droid because the droid wants to execute the child. So it's like, well, I get it. I'm glad he did that, but unfortunately that just sucks because, it's such a great character, but thankfully they bring back the character, and in the way they bring back the character and what they did with him after that, turning him into basically like this nanny / battle droid kind of thing, was fucking brilliant. They gave him a noble death. Everything, like, holy shit, I loved that motherfucking character so much. I just loved it. It ended up exemplifying what I feel about The Mandalorian on the whole as a series. This is everything I want from Star Wars. There's been a lot of talk. We've debated about it on the show. We've talked about what a lot of the people out there, critics and people in fandom and stuff, say about Star Wars anymore, especially since the Disney acquisition and, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, all that, all this stuff. There's been the prequels. There's been so much back and forth and negativity, and a lot of people who are diehard Star Wars fans saying, oh, they just can't get it right. There's been a lot of directors and producers and Lucas and all of them sitting there going, oh, the fans are hopeless because they never going to be happy with anything we give them. To me, this settled all that shit, because this is what Star Wars is supposed to be. This has the cute stuff for all the kids and for people who like that stuff. It's got plenty of violence. It's got plenty of darkness and seriousness to it. I mean, great battle scenes, great special effects, great droids. It's got humor, but...
got just a teensy bit of romance.
Yeah, slightly.
Very, 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 very teensy bit.
Very teensy, yeah. And
but it's there.
But enough to give Mando a little bit more humanity, to add, so it doesn't feel so, one-dimensional, I guess. So, being a space battle kind of thing. I and they could even expand on that a little bit. I'd be okay with it as long as they do it well. I don't want to see people fucking frolicking and rolling around in fields of dandelions going...
holding hands and spinning.
Going,
staring at each other.
No, I love you so much. Oh, God.
Yeah, don't go there.
Well, the problem is, he can't, take his helmet off, though, when he's with her. So...
But you never know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Could he...
That's not what you need.
He's going to show her a whole different... He's got a whole different kind of helmet in mind for that woman. Let me tell you. He'll show her his helmet. Believe me. Be like, I got a helmet I need you to polish up. And
that what makes us cut not good.
That is why Kappa don't come after us. Anybody who thinks this is kid friendly is out of their fucking mind. Anyway,
we were doing so good too.
Yeah, I know. We try not to be perverted, but it's hard, man. It's really hard.
Literally, sometimes.
That's what she said. Yeah.
It just goes downhill from there. I think we need to wrap up, dude.
Yeah, and I think we are.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, buddy, you have to wrap that up if you want
to. Really digging ourselves a hole here, aren't we? That's what she said.
Okay.
Anyway, you all right?
Yeah.
That's why we can't get anything done properly. Yeah. And I think you guys agree with me. I think this is exactly what Star Wars should be doing. I've enjoyed some of the recent Star Wars movies. You know, we all have our various opinions on what was good and not, and what was better than other things and stuff. But I think this has surprised a lot of people. Apparently, even Disney was like really shocked at how well this was received. And I'm like, well, because it was done right. And because you had people that were in charge of this that were doing it right. You had people like Dave Filoni, you had Jon Favreau. Mm-hmm. You know, you put these guys in charge of something like this, and they're not gonna pull some, you know, Rian Johnson bullshit where it's like, well, I'm not really a Star Wars fan, so I'm gonna just totally turn it upside down on its head and do my thing with it. People like Favreau know that he's like, no, fuck that. You know, my thing is going to be what the Star Wars fan thing is, which is we want to see cool battles, we want to see more Boba Fett type characters and more of the bounty hunters and the cantina creatures and all that shit. That's the stuff we all grew up fantasizing about, thinking about since we first saw these movies when we were kids, you know? We didn't really care that much about some of the other bullshit they put into the recent Star Wars movies that they seem to think is important. No, this has got everything we want and nothing that we don't want. Do you guys back me up on that?
Yeah, for
back
sure.
You up.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, just on the last note we'll leave it on is if you guys can, I know there's a lot of scenes, but tell me, what are some of your standout favorite moments of The Mandalorian? For me, obviously, as I already said, I love all the IG-88 stuff, especially at the end with him when he joins up with the rest of them. He saves Mando's life when they go down into that cave, that cavern thing with the lava pits and all that, and just the whole way that transpired, the way IG-88 sacrificed himself for them like that. That's the kind of stuff that's what I go to see Star Wars movies for. Is shit like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that just, it makes you a little choked up. It makes you like a little like fist raising triumphant. It puts you on your edge of your seat. That's good old Star Wars stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I felt when I went and saw Empire Strikes Back for the first time when I was 7 years old. For the first time since then, I felt that again. Mm-hmm. I would have felt that to a degree with Rogue One, because I love Rogue One. The only problem with Rogue One is it was a little predictable because you kind of knew what was going to happen. This one, we don't exactly know what's going to happen because this is a period of time that hasn't really been talked about. What did you guys think about the scene with the two biker scouts when they captured?
That was awesome.
That was pretty funny.
It was pretty brutal, man. They were punching that baby.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool with that, but it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny to see what happened to him in the end.
Yeah, they got what they deserved.
Yeah.
I love that Mando has to go like turn in his Latinium chips or whatever they're called in this series. I don't know.
Beskar Steel.
Beskar Steel.
Yeah.
I love that he has to go to that woman and she has to like forge it out of the melted stuff that he brings her. I thought that was really, really cool. It's like this old samurai thing where you have to constantly upgrade your armor and prove yourself worthy to get to the next level, and you get a new piece of armor. That's like unbelievably cool in this series.
Yeah, I love the way they fleshed out, even though they could do more, I love the way they fleshed out the Mandalorian order and how they, like you said, they're almost like old samurais, old shoguns and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. I love how their whole creed is kind of revolving around armor, battle, and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's very Klingon-y,
Yeah, I could see that. What about you? Any things that stand out to you?
The one that jumped in my head first was with the other mercenaries or bounty hunters, whatever they were, his old crew.
Yeah.
and he was like hunting them down, and it's like
the strobe light effect?
Yes, and it like was, that was so fucking cool. Sneaking, I was like, oh my god, that guy's so fucked.
Yeah, there were elements of that episode that almost like bordered on sort of like a sci-fi horror style. Not that the story was horror, but the way it was edited and shot and the way they built up tension and stuff. It was almost like some kind of cube shit or something, like combined with that, or some Jason in space stuff or something.
The best Jason X.
Or aliens, aliens. It kind of had that sort of like, that was really well done. Yeah, I forgot all about that scene. Fuck. I'm glad you mentioned it.
I really liked watching him hunt them all down. Like, oh, you guys are fucked now.
Well, I mean, I don't think that we could wax ecstatic about this all night long, and I think we got the point across. I think it goes without saying, are you guys excited about season 2?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's been very little revealed about it. I know that there was, we'll have to see if we can maybe find a picture of it. There was a sketch drawing showing that they kind of teased us with that looked like it was a Gamorrean, like the Gamorrean guards.
That's right.
And everything. So that creature might obviously is going to make some sort of appearance. For me, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that they're going to continue to pull out the Easter eggs. I mean, the stuff like, if all of a sudden I have an episode where I see a Hammerhead type character, who Hammerhead is, right, from the cantina. That Street Sharks.
They're awesome, dude.
And
you guys laughing? That's the tagline. Street Sharks.
I know it is. I know. Oh, I know it is. Anyway, it's a cantina creature from New Hope.
Okay.
Like things like that. I would love to see them pull out, some characters like that, and because we did get some hints of characters like that throughout this show and everything. I'd love to see more stuff having to do, with the other bounty hunters like Bosk or Dengar and 4LOM, the other ones that we saw in Empire Strikes Back for a hot second. If they were to bring those out, I mean,
you would lose it.
I would lose my fucking mind. They had an episode where he has a run-in with Dengar. Like, holy shit. And that's what we want. That's what we want, Disney. All of you understand. That's what we want. We want that kind of shit added with some new elements and just good storytelling. Beyond the bullshit. Just put the bullshit aside. Just do good storytelling. And Favreau and Filoni and everybody else that was behind the scenes on this, they made that happen. Here's hoping season 2 is as good or better.
I just want to add in, I also really liked all the sketches at the end of every episode. Those were really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what? During the end credits, I'm sure anybody knows that's watching this knows, but if you don't, during the end credits of every episode, they would show these Ralph McQuarrie style sketches of the scenes from the episode, kind of like you would see if you were storyboarding out an episode before you filmed it. And they were great, and they received a lot of praise and accolades from people out there. You're not the only one that noticed it. I saw a lot of people saying, man, I love those. Those are incredible. Yeah, I don't know if they are making them available or if they have or if they plan to, but if they ever made like a book of them, like the art of the Mandalorian.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Absolutely. I'd love to have that stuff. Or have like one or two of those as like cool prints, like frame kind of thing. Yeah, so if that's not already a thing, which some of you might be like, I bought that last month. Well, I'm not that on top.
Tell us where it's at. Send us a link.
Let us know.
Fucking comment.
And on that note, yes, we hope you guys enjoyed this, and we really want to know what you think of Mandalorian. What was your favorite stuff? What didn't you like? We want to talk to you guys. Let's get a dialogue going, It's so hard getting you guys to fucking type out your little shit on our videos or whatever. Let us know what you think. And, hopefully we'll talk to you soon. And as soon as we have any more news about what's going to be happening on Mandalorian, we will be talking about it. We have a Facebook group called the Geeking Squad. If you want to look us up on Facebook, come join the Geeking Squad, man. We talk a lot about news, updated news of what's going on in Star Wars and other, geeky stuff that we're into. Come find us there. Find us on Instagram. Find us here. And we hope you enjoyed it. And that's about it, right?
I think
so.
We got to get on the old Slave One and get the fuck out of Dodge now. So may the Force be with you.
And always with you.
I was going to go like that too. I couldn't do it. Here we go.
You don't need these geeks. Move along.